So I'm going to show you this example that I have up here today, and this is about a coffee shop. But I'm going to relate this coffee shop to a business that you run out of your office. I don't care if it's services or products or whatever it is. You have something that you're selling, and you have some sort of service or product that you're fulfilling. So let's walk through this here. Let's say this is the door the customer comes in, and I'm going to walk through this the way that I actually see this happening in a coffee shop down the street from my house, the way that they can easily fix the processes that are apparent to me as the customer. But then there is how it relates to your business and the processes that are happening behind the scenes that are a little trickier that we can relate. So first is in this coffee shop, the customer comes in and they have to go over here because this is the menu of the things that are available for them to purchase. They come over here and they look at the menu. Unless they are someone who comes in here every day, they need to know what they want to get. And then, it's usually pretty busy in the morning, so there might be a couple of people standing here. This is the tables. People go to sit down after they're done eating. So they look at the menu, and then the cash register is over here. So they go back over here, and they have to wait in line. And this is where they order, and after they order, then they pay in the same spot. So they're going in the door, over here, see what they want, over here, get in line, order, pay, go back against these people here, and wait down here for it to be fulfilled. And then either they are going back this way, leaving out the door, or they're sitting down. So you can see how there's a little bit of overlap and it's a little clunky. And I guarantee that if you wrote down the steps of your business, or even if you had employees who were sitting in an office and you went through the way that they did their work and how they sent their work back and forth, you would be able to see something similar to this. So now let's take a look at how you've ever been to a really well run restaurant. You know it when you see it because you're like, wow, that was efficient. So let's say that you route the traffic in this way. They take a look at the menu, they decide what they want to order. They come over here, they place their order. This person takes their order. They come over here to the register, they pay, then they wait for their order to be fulfilled, and they either sit down or they go on their way. Really, really simple changes in the layout and the way that you do things. And that's a lot about what scalability is. It's really simple changes in the layout and the way. This person who's the fulfillment team, who's fulfilling the orders, they need to know what's on this board. They need to know what's being sold. Because if somebody up there orders something that they don't know how to make, or we don't know how to fulfill, or let's say it's a product that the fulfillment team doesn't even know anything about yet, or a service that nobody is skilled to offer, that's going to be a problem, just like it is in a bakery if they don't know how to make the thing on the menu, right? So the fulfillment team needs to know what's being sold. The fulfillment team also needs to know what from being what's sold, what's also being ordered, because how can they be prepared, especially if this is, let's say if this is a larger company with a couple of employees, how can those employees be prepared to fulfill something if they don't know what's coming down the line? In this case, the person who's taking the order is going to fill out some sort of ticket and pass it along, and that's how they're going to know what's being fulfilled. In the case of a larger company, maybe there's some sort of order that comes through a computer system or something like that that will show what's being fulfilled and what the expectations are of the fulfillment team for delivery. So we know that that is something that's really important for the fulfillment team. The fulfillment team also need, and this is something that people forget, but this is really important. The fulfillment team also needs to know, have they paid, or are they okay to pay? So let's say if you're in this bakery, for instance, in this coffee shop, they need to pay before they pick up their order, right? So the fulfillment team knows if the person has paid or not. If you are a consultant who offers your services, you want to make sure that the person has paid or put a retainer deposit or something down before you start delivering. If you're at a company that offers terms, still same situation. You want to know that that customer has the credit line and is paying before it's being fulfilled. I'm not saying the fulfillment team needs to know how much is the available on the credit line, or even how much necessarily that the customer or the company has paid them. But what they do need to know is if it's okay based on the credit team to fulfill, or are these people not going to pay their offered terms? So that's one really important piece that I've seen a lot of companies get into trouble on. Fulfillment team just wants to fulfill because they don't know any different, because no one over here is stopping that team from fulfilling when they know for sure that that customer might not pay or has overdue balances. And they could use that, like say, you need to pay this before we'll fulfill. There needs to be some sort of process in place there. All right, so then you have, let's back up to this. We'll call this like, this is the register, right? So this is the payment and billing department in your company. They need to know what has been ordered, what is available for order, and what's being fulfilled. All right, again, really obvious stuff, but they don't want to charge the customer for something that hasn't been ordered, and they don't want to charge for something that hasn't been fulfilled if they're doing this on credit terms. And that might seem so easy, but guys, let me tell you how often I see companies where this payment and billing team, they get instructions on saying who is being invoiced for what. And if the fulfillment team hasn't actually, like, let's say they checked off that they were going to fulfill something, but they don't have the process in order to actually get it delivered to the customer, then you run into this problem where the billing team has the wrong information because there's some sort of missing process in the middle, so that the billing, payment, even accounts receivable department needs to know what's happening there. There's also, and you know what happens there? They think, well, it's easy to solve this customer's problem if, let's say, we accidentally charge them for something that they didn't get. But that turns into a customer service nightmare, because you've got people who are then saying, well, we can't charge them because we said that we shipped this thing, but that we didn't ship the thing. Then the fulfillment department is like, oh, so do I ship another one, or do I wait for that one to get picked up? And then they get some sort of, note that says, oh, you better deliver on this customer order, and they ship something else out. That's when write-offs happen. That's when people say, oh, well, we can't collect on this now because look at all these problems that have happened, And so that's what I want to identify as far as these front-end obvious things that are happening and this behind-the-scenes back-end processes. You need to make sure that this team is aligned with this team, that this team is aligned with this team. Whatever the communications are, they all have inputs and they all have outputs. So this team needs to communicate that way and that way. This team, the same. This team, the same. And how do you do that? You do that through things, people call this either like their standard operating procedures. They might call this their playbooks. They might call it their the rules, the business rules of the company. If you have those, that's great. But you have to also putting them in place, making sure that they account for the different areas and the different departments so that everybody is on the same page. Because you don't want this team saying they ran out of blueberries for blueberry muffins, taking it off the board. Now this team wonders, why is nobody ordering blueberry muffins anymore? Because this team thought it was best to take something out. So I hope that makes sense. I'm interested to hear what types of businesses you have and how do you feel like that relates to this analogy here? And let me know what questions or anything that you have about that. Take care.